How's it going there, folks? Voodoo Stache here. The functional movement that we're going to take a look at today is going to be hip internal and hip external rotation here. So our goal here is to steadily improve you in all these little functional movements. So today we're going to focus in on the hips. So I'm going to begin here in that 90-90 position, so 90 and 90. I'm going to start off with stretching out this front hip. So I rotate this way, I'm going to hinge forward, hinge forward, hinge forward. This leg is actually being externally rotated as I sit here. I'm going to feel a big stretch on the outside of my butt. I'm going to hold there for about a minute. Now once I've stretched that muscle, I've created a bunch of range. Now we're going to learn how to actively control that new range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the yoga block here, toss that guy underneath, and I'm going to focus on pressing down. So I'm working on abduction, abducting, taking my leg away from my midline. So I sit up nice and tall, I press down, press down, press down, make my butt cheek working really, really hard as I press down, press down, press down, building through all 5 gears till you hit your peak. Hold there for about 10 seconds. Then you can work on the external rotation of this leg. So I have the block there, breath in, rib cage down. I'm going to drive that knee into the floor. I'm going to try to rotate, trying to get that leg further off the ground. So I'm trying to rotate through there. So that's one way that you can use this. Another way you can do this is you can work on raising the entire leg up as if it's all on one plane. So I'm here, I'm going to try to rotate that thing up. I'm going to try to pick that whole thing up as one solid piece, so those are all on the same plane. Without leaning backwards here, I'm going to try to keep myself tall and let that thing rest. So that's what I would do to you to work on external rotation on this leg. On the back leg, to stretch this guy out, I'm going to open my chest up, try to get my sternum looking at that back leg. I'm going to hang out here for a minute. You'll feel all this stuff slowly pull apart and release. Once I've done that, I'm going to take this block, I'm going to toss it underneath my knee here. And do that same idea. So I stretched for a minute, created more range, now I got to make myself work through it. So I'm going to take this leg here, I'm going to press down, working on adduction, adduction on the inside of my leg here. So I'm going to turn here, rib cage down, breath in, I'm going to press, and I'm trying to compress this thing, trying to squish that yoga block as much as I can as I press down, press down, press down. Build through that for 10 seconds, hanging at your peak here for 10 seconds. Now I'm going to work on internal rotation, so my leg bone's going to go this way. Breath in, rib cage down, I'm going to rotate, 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 try to get that thing off the floor without letting my body tip forward. I'm trying my best to keep myself tall, so all the motion's happening inside that joint there. Again, I can make this more difficult by rotating and then trying to raise that thing up, contracting here, that TFL, glute med, all those guys there. Working on internally rotating and send that guy down. Now, if you're doing this, it's really difficult and you're struggling, you can also come down to your elbow. So what I can do here, I'll switch my orientation here a little bit. So if I'm sitting in this position here, that 90-90, and I'm really struggling, let's say, picking this thing up, I can simply come down to my elbow, keep the hips driven forward, the rib cage down. I can still press down from here, I can still rotate from here, and I can still pick up from here. Same thing on that back leg. If my back leg is the one that I'm working on, same thing here, I'll come down to that elbow. Hips are forward, rib cage down. I'm going to press down, press down, press down. Rotate, rotate, raise, raise. So as you do all these, you're going to play around those positions, see what works best for you. So again, you're thinking about the rib cage down, the hips are driven forward, not letting your body lean back and forth as you're trying to do that rotation, so that everything's happening within that joint. Try that stuff out, let me know how it goes.